I started playing guitar when I was about 6 years old. And I've always loved music. Growing up, we always grew up around music. Like, our families, like we're not sisters, our family did all kinds of music growing up. So I wanted to play guitar, so I learned guitar, and I would just write songs here and there. But, you know, I was like 6, 7, 8 at the time, like real childish stuff. And I honestly, what I bring it back to, after my grandfather, he passed away, I started writing a lot more. And so my parents, they were like, let's get you. They had some connections through some people they met. And so we got a couple writing sessions, and I started working with a producer. His name is Rwanga. He's one of my producers now. Love him to death. And it kind of just grew from there. And in the beginning, I think I had my first studio trip when I was 11 years old.
And I was 8, and I went with her, and I was always putting in my 2 cents on all the stuff. Like, just thinking about being in the studio for the first time at 8 years old, it's just crazy to think about, because it's like introduced me to the environment at such a young age that I've learned by watching her, like, what to do and what not to do. And just to understand, like, where we are, you know?
Yeah, it's been a crazy adventure, and we've definitely both come a long way from there. Because in the beginning, it was like pop reggae is what I was doing.
Because we were huge fans. We were huge fans of the band The Dirty Heads. And we used to listen to them all the time. We would go to all their shows. And so I feel like that was where most of the inspo came from for her music. And I was never on any of her music when I was younger. I didn't start creating my own music till I was probably 12. But we're 3 years apart, and I played piano when I was younger. So we would go to these recitals and just play. We wouldn't sing. She would sing, but I would literally just sit there and play the piano in front of a crowd. And I was like, this is not great. I would rather do something else. But, you know, you got to start somewhere. So
growing so much from, even though I was only 11, I'm only 17 now, so much has changed. Because in the beginning, I was a very closed-minded person. I did not like change. I did not see, I had no foresight. But now, I mean, just being in the music industry alone has really changed that, opened my eyes. And being open-minded, stepping out of your comfort zone, that's probably one of the most important things that I have learned, and probably to learn in the music industry, in any like creative field, because you can open so many new doors and create so many new opportunities for yourself if you have that open mindset. Because if not, then, you know, you're going to get stuck in your ways, and you will miss so many opportunities.
It's also really important to just kind of explore the different genres, because especially when you're just a fresh new artist, like I'm only 14, I still don't even know what my sound is. Like, I know what I like to listen to, but I don't know what I want to create, you know? So I feel like it's really important to explore all of the different sounds, like starting off with reggae and then coming to where you are now and more of like a alternative R&B. It took a minute, like exploring. We created so many different songs that nobody will ever get to hear, just for us to figure it out ourselves.
A lot of trial and error.
I immediately thought of you recording Low Key.
So I released this song, how long ago? 2 years ago?
Yeah, it's
called Low Key. And before this song, I was so extremely stubborn about writing my music. I wanted to be the sole writer of every single song. And this particular weekend that we went down, it was like, there were so many things going wrong that ended up making it go so right. Like, I had no clue what to write. Absolutely complete writer's block. I could not write to this track. My producer, his freaking laptop got stolen out of his car. We had a very close family member pass away back at home. It was just, the weekend was not it for me.
It was event after event that just caused, especially you never ever had writer's block. And we came back to the house that we were staying in, and she had nothing on her paper, and she was like, I literally can't write. Like, what's going on?
It was a ridiculous session. And for me, at least to top it all off, my producer, he was like, oh, I have this artist. I sent him the track, like he wrote this and that for the song. And I was so angry. I was like, this is not it. Honestly, I had no faith in the song. And after we recorded it and we got it back, mixed and mastered, it ended up being like magic. The song, like the energy that the song carried was amazing. And still to this day, when I listen to that song, that is the song that reminds me why I love doing music so much, why I love writing and recording and being in the studio and making connections, performing. It is the sole reminder out of all my songs that's like, through everything that happened that weekend, through everything that happened that session, we still were able to create something beautiful from this the tragedy that was going on around us. And so I always go back to that song, and whenever I hear it, I'm like, man, this is why I do what I love to do.
And like after you got that the melody and like from the artist from Watson, after you got the hook for the song, you immediately could write the rest of the song. And so we sat down on the floor of the studio, of the booth, and it was so dark. There were just candles, and she always sat in the dark and wrote. And so we were just sitting on the floor, and we finally came up with the bridge. That was the last thing we needed. And so once we recorded the bridge, it was like the rest of the day was so fun.
Yeah, everything was brought together.